I never heard that Charlie Dixon and Joy Taylor were sleeping together. But upon hearing that, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, it makes a lot of things make sense.
Welcome back to It's Culture. My name is Mark, and oh my God, you know, when lawsuits and stuff and dirt starts coming out, the people who have been remaining silent, they start to talk. And Jason Whitlock and Marcellus Wiley have been on their podcast shows talking about this lawsuit involving Skip Bayless and Joy Taylor, and they have some interesting takes on the stuff, especially with Joy Taylor, for instance. If you could do me a favor, hit the like button, hit that share button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when I post new content. We're over 7,000 subscribers now, so I appreciate everybody who has subscribed. Let's get to 8,000. Let's get to 9,000. Let's get to 10. Let's keep running the numbers up. I appreciate it. I really do. And everybody coming back, reviewing the shows and stuff like that. I really appreciate all this. I really do. Helps me keep going. This whole situation with Skip Bayless and Joy Taylor, it's just only fitting that 2025 would start with some BS. We've had all kind of things going on, and it was only fitting that we get a lawsuit involving some prominent people in the sports entertainment industry, because we had it all last year. But I never thought that I'd see a lawsuit involving Skip Bayless to the point where it was about him offering up money for sexual favors. Nor did I think that I was going to find about Joy Taylor having allegations of her sleeping her way to the top. That just wasn't on my bingo card. And when I did my previous video, when I went through the lawsuit and kind of talked about how I felt about the lawsuit, I felt it was only fitting that I kind of wait before I do another video. I didn't even know if I was going to do another reaction video to that. But then I stumbled across Jason Whitlock and Marcellus Wiley's takes on it. You know, I listened to a lot of different people online, just to, you know, get their perspective on things and hear how they, you know, that's what we all do. We all tune in. Y'all listening to me, right? I'm giving my take. Some of you all, you comment back and let me know what you think. And I take that and I try to communicate back, you know, articulate my point back to you so you can see my point of view. But at the end of the day, we all got free will and we all have our own opinions. That's why we have them, right? So I listened to Marcellus Wiley and I listened to Jason Whitlock. And I have to say, getting the perspective for people who actually worked at the network put things in perspective for me. Now, some people may say, man, Mark, what are you talking about, man? They used to work there. They some haters. You can't trust what they saying. I don't know these people from Adam. I don't work at Fox Sports. I don't know Charlie Dixon. I don't know Joy Taylor. I don't know Skip Bayless. I don't know none of these folks, right? And most of y'all don't either. But so I can only take somebody for what they say at face value, eat the meat, spit out the bones. So that's what we're going to do with these videos tonight. We're going to dissect what Marcellus Wiley and Jason Whitlock had to say. And then, you know, we're going to have a conversation through it out. So the first clip I'm going to show you is from Marcellus Wiley. And here's what he had to say.
Sleeping with Emmanuel Acho? I've heard that before.
Right off the rip. Marcellus Wiley used to work on Speak for Yourself. Marcellus Wiley worked with Emmanuel Acho. So right off the rip, he says, sleeping with Emmanuel Acho, I heard that.
multiple times. Recent as a week or two ago.
Recently as a week or two ago. This is before the lawsuit comes out. I have to remind you all, this lawsuit just dropped this past weekend. He said as recent as a week ago, meaning before this lawsuit came out, I had already heard all this stuff.
Part of the reason it was suggested that they do a show together was because of these allegations in the lawsuit that they were sleeping together, conspiring to get that to go. Conspiring with Charlie, conspiring with Emmanuel Acho. Let's make this work.
Okay, so we hear Marcellus Wiley talking about how the show came about, how Speak for Yourself came about. Now, mind you, the new version of Speak for Yourself, because the original version of Speak for Yourself was Marcellus Wiley and Jason Whitlock. They were on that show way back when both of them still worked for the network. So you know how shows evolve over time. Different people come on, different people go away. So this was like the rebranding, because Fox Sports, for some reason, especially when it comes to their daily programming, the only person whose show seems to have been able to stay in its same hour and its same block and be able to carry the network is Colin Cowherd's show, The Herd. And that's crazy because Colin came over from ESPN and brought that to Fox Sports. Nobody else has been able to carry their show and sustain it like Colin Cowherd has.
What is crazier is how they split apart, do different shows. You can say, well, Skip is fired, which is a part of this lawsuit as well. I mean, this is crazy. That's why I say I'm going to systematically break this thing down. They split apart different shows. Why did they go on different shows, they say? Relationship went sour.
So Joey and Emmanuel Acho, they distanced themselves at the network because the relationship went sour. Now, Joy's still on. It's not called Speak for Yourself no more. The show is called Speak. She had the show. It comes on at like 5:30 in the afternoon now. And Emmanuel Acho has his own show with his homeboys who were on Speak after Marcellus Wiley and Jason Whitlock left. They left and started their own show. So now it's called The Facility. And I was wondering why they had their own show, because one day I was just tuning in and next thing you know, Emmanuel Acho was on in the morning time with LaShawn McCoy and James Jones. And I'm like, the hell just happened? What happened? What absolutely happened to Speak for Yourself? And that was that's what happened. They got their own show. It's called The Facility now. They're doing the same thing they did on Speak for Yourself. Emmanuel Acho is still hosting it. He's still like the person who brings the topics up. And he was doing that on Speak for Yourself. So Joy's still on Speak. I don't know who's on Speak because I don't watch it because it comes on so late. I don't even know who's on the show with her. But she's still doing the show. So now she's like in the late hour, going up against Sports Center with L. Duncan. Relationship goes sour. They get their own shows. Who would have thunk it? When you see how the shows and how the Rise moves, because Joy went from Undisputed to Colin to Speak to now having her own show. As well as, she has podcasts and all that. But the rise and climb is fast. You're like, dang, okay, that's cool. And then you hear her talk about how the climb was, and you're like, okay, I respect the grind. But we don't know the no. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. So Jason Whitlock, on his show, on his podcast, he decided to kind of give a little perspective on how they brought Joy to Fox Sports. Now, like I said, all this stuff is alleged. I don't know these people, but these are their accounts of what happened. So we're going to listen to Jason Whitlock real quick and react to him as well.
I can remember I'm at Fox Sports at the time, and I ran into some friction because I didn't want a woman on a show that I was doing.
Now, I don't agree with that part, that we should, there shouldn't be women on sports shows, but there are men in the industry, in the sports industry, that really feel that women should not be covering male sports. That's a real thing. There's a lot of men, not just on television, that are just sports junkies in general, who believe that women should not be in the locker rooms and not be on shows talking about male sports.
At Fox Sports. And so this is in 2015, 16, at the very beginning. And I can remember they brought Joy Taylor in for a test on the show that I was doing. Yeah, this is at the time when I was going to be initially doing my own show, and Cowherd was doing something else. And just keeping it all the way real, Charlie Dixon wanted her to be involved with my show. And so we brought her in for a test. And I didn't think the test went well.
Okay. So in my previous video, I was talking about how you pilot something and you have like a focus group. And those people are the people who kind of tell you, yeah, this is going to work. This is not going to work. They do this a lot out there in Hollywood. A lot of they test stuff out. I mean, a lot of companies do this. This is what marketing and branding does. They put things out there to see how we react to it. If it's a go, then they green light it. If it doesn't get good reviews, they can it. That's why a lot of ideas are getting pitched all the time and things don't work out, because these focus groups are utilized to let you know if it's going to jive. So Jason Whitlock, now you have to think about what he's saying. Joy is only, I think she's 38. So all of this is around 2015. That meant that Joy would have been about 28. 26, 27, 28 years old, somewhere around there. Now, what would make them think that Joy Taylor could be on a show with Jason Whitlock? If y'all know anything about Jason Whitlock, y'all know how he talks. He thinks he's the smartest person in the room. He's kind of arrogant. That's Jason Whitlock, right? That's who he is. So now you got this young, bubbly personality who's just coming from Miami. She's a beach person. Like, you really think that she's going to come and be on the show with Jason Whitlock and that was going to work out? I can see that being a bad focus group. And in the early days of Fox Sports, when she was coming on, she would appear on different shows. They would just have her come on as like a special guest, a special host, whatever. But nobody really knew who Joy Taylor was. I mean, ESPN does it all the time. First Take, there's always different people that be on the show, and they may be on there one time, or you like, who is this person that's filling in for such and such? You don't know who that person is. It's them doing focus groups. They're trying out different people to see if you react to them. And particularly, it's not really the dudes so much, because guys, when you're talking to sports, we'll listen to another dude, but if he gives a bad take, it's not like we're going to say he's horrible. We're just, we're going to do what we're going to do with him on social media. But when it comes to women in sports, men don't want to see women who are not attractive on television talking about sports. So you need that eye candy in order to, if you're going to have them on the show, they better be eye candy, because you're not going to have men willing to tune in and listen to somebody who looks who doesn't look good. Even if they know what they're talking about. I'll give you one. Doris Burke is very, very knowledgeable in the game of basketball. Very, very knowledgeable. I can't tell you how many times I have seen comments on social media in regards to her on the side, her being a color commentator. Her, Beth Mowins, nobody wants to hear them. But ESPN keeps trotting them out there, and their ratings are tumbling. That's why the NBA is doing absolutely horrible with ratings, because nobody's tuning in to hear this. I'm telling you. They want to know why the ratings has slumped. It ain't got nothing to do with the play of basketball. It's got to do with who is on that sideline coming through the microphone that people are hearing every night. That's what it is. Nobody wants to hear that. And it's also because men also don't like that. It's very, very sexist. I'll just say I'll just say it's sexist. All right? It has a lot of sexist connotations to it. And I'm going to leave it at that. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do with that. If you're a guy and you watch sports, you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. I don't know how you have to spell it out. So Charlie Dixon is pushing her because she's a pretty woman. I mean, we got to give Joy props. I mean, she's very, very gorgeous. She is a beautiful woman. So she'll have people tune in. Hell, I'll be the first to admit she had me tuning in to hear Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Because I went, who is this? Joy Taylor? Okay. All righty then. Let's go. They had to have somebody that could compete with Molly Carroll. So they went and got her. That doesn't mean that people want to hear them talk all the time, but they just, hey, have them up on the show. And it was fine. But as that lawsuit has said, you know, she was sleeping her way to the top. And that's a whole nother thing, because there would never be a time where you would ever hear that a guy slept his way to the top and that was a bad thing. It's only bad when it's a woman doing it. And I talked to one of my friends about this, one of my homeboys who has a show. Y'all can go check him out on his Joseph podcast, my homeboy, the Hood Counselor. I was talking to him about it, and I think the conclusion was that I guess it's looked upon bad because most guys if you have a daughter, that is the opposite of what you're teaching your own daughter to do. And as a man who has 3 daughters, I would tell you that is something that I definitely is conveying to my daughters. That you should not have to use your body to move up the corporate ladder. The only part of your body that you should be able to use to move up that ladder is your brain. Every other part of your body is to be loved on, respected, appreciated, but your brain is to be utilized for the greater good and for your upward mobility, because that's what we pay for you to go to college to do. That's why we're sending you to school to learn so you can go be productive. But you shouldn't have to use your sexuality ever to move up. And like I said, all this stuff is alleged. Nobody has come out in defense. Like, I haven't seen anything. This is the first time people have just been radio silent. I think you've heard from other people's surrogates. You heard from Stephen A. Smith. You heard from Cam Newton. You heard from, other reactors and YouTubers who have talked about it, but the people who are involved haven't said anything. I don't know if they will ever say anything, because one thing Shannon Sharp says that he said his grandma taught him the same thing my grandma taught me, and we both from Georgia, is that you never chase a lie. Never chase a lie. The problem with this part is this is a lawsuit. So you're going to have to answer eventually. Like I said in my previous video, this was 42-page lawsuit. 42 pages. 6 class action lawsuits. 8 civil lawsuits. So everybody is going to have to answer to this because this has been filed. We know Fox Sports is papered up. We know they lawyered up. I mean, they're a network. They got every single lawyer known to man. And from what I read in that lawsuit, this woman had very, very detailed stuff. Now, a lot of it is kind of hearsay, it's stuff that she was told, that, I mean, that's he say, she say stuff. How can you prove that? But if there is evidence, physical evidence to any of this, this is so damning. This is so damning. And this is a hairstylist. And as I thought in my previous video, I said she was a celebrity hairstylist. Allegedly, she was just like on the set. She was like just a regular little wage worker. It always happens like that. There's talks in that lawsuit about her going to HR. If that stuff is there, it's going to be documented. Now, if they're going to throw stuff out, it's like I said, we're going to find out what goes on with this lawsuit. But I just found it very, very moving to hear Marcellus Wiley talk about it, what he had heard, hear about Jason Whitlock, his perspective, and to kind of see exactly what they thought about this. And I can tell you from my perspective, it looks bad, but, this is the court of public opinion, and we all got one. The only court that really matters is the one that they're going to be going before. And when they sit in front of a judge in that deposition, that's when all this is going to come out. And we're going to know the truth then. We're going to know the real truth. But I know if it is true, then this is bad for young girls who want to get into sports journalism and be in a male-dominant industry. Those glass ceilings are glass ceilings for a reason, and when they shatter, they set off other things for others to achieve. But if we got stuff like this still going on, and we know it goes on, because we know that men are making advances at women at work all the time. So, of course, some of them are taking it. We just had it with the Boston Celtics, Ime Udoka. And what did she do when they got caught? He was the one that ended up getting fired. She kept her job because he was supposed to be in a position of power. The lawsuit says that allegedly Joy Taylor had informed Ms. Faraji that if Dixon tried to get rid of her, she would just say that he tried to make unwanted advances at her. I just gave you an example of how it works. So, y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about what Jason Whitlock and Marcellus Wiley had to say. And as always, Coach Nation, let's keep coaching.